Hello and welcome to Cask Tech Tips. My name is Taylor and today we're going to talk about cam follower bearing replacement and inspection. This is a pretty critical point, but it's a fairly straightforward procedure. Your cam followers are located at the back of the seamer, and this is typically part of the assembly you're going to use to do a horizontal die adjustment. We'll start with inspections, as this is pretty easy and should be done on a very regular basis. Easiest way to inspect these for play or any issues is by manually removing the bearing from the cam. Your cam is that rotating lobe that's going to be in between these two cam followers, and these actually are the bearings themselves. So when we're looking for signs of play, we're going to move the bearing in two different directions. Left to right, up and down. Even when the bearings are new, it's very common to see a little bit of movement on this roller vertically. Not a huge deal, but if you're seeing more than just a little bit of movement, contact the support department to diagnose and troubleshoot further. Next, you're going to grab the bearing on its sides and try and wiggle it back and forth. In this direction, there should be absolutely zero play. If you see or feel any, that bearing will need to be replaced. The third inspection point, which could also result in replacement, is just give it a spin. This should spin nice and free. This bearing is loaded with grease, so it's not going to freewheel on its own, but it should be very smooth. You shouldn't feel any clicking, binding, grittiness, anything like that. If you do find that these bearings are in need of replacement or we're at a regular service interval, the easiest way to do this is by removing the entire pivot arm itself and simply swapping the bearing. The way to do that is first by removing the spring that joins your two seamer arms together. There's a Phillips panhead screw retaining that spring. You don't have to remove both, just pick one, and that'll set it free. In the middle of the arm, you have a large nut and lock washer. Those thread onto the shaft of your pivot arm spindle housing. That shaft has an Allen key. That's there so that you can hold this shaft and prevent it from rotating as you rotate the locking nut. Once you have that nut removed, you can then wiggle the arm down and out. And if yours has a die, of course there will be a die in here. But this is what the arm looks like. To retain your horizontal adjustments and create the least amount of work for yourself, once you've got the arm sitting on the bench, use the Allen key slot provided in the bearing housing to simply thread this out of your adjustment eccentric hub. The new bearing is going to come with a brass plug. For this application, you do not need that. You can simply throw that in the garbage. Apply a small amount of blue Loctite to the threads of this bearing. Thread it back in until the threads seat. You don't have to torque this down a lot, just nice, firm, and secure. That Loctite or retaining compound will keep that thread from backing out on you. Reinstall the arm in the same but opposite order. Arm goes in, retaining nut goes on. Join the spring, and you should be done. It's always advisable when you do any changes or modifications or adjustments to the seamer to verify your seam measurements before commencing with a run. Running this method usually does not result in any adjustments needing to be made. However, if you are experiencing seam issues and this is a deficiency contributing to that problem, adjustment will be necessary. Typically, this will be a horizontal adjustment, but it should be pretty straightforward. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact Cask support via telephone, email, or we have WhatsApp now. If you need parts, let us know. Until next time, happy canning.